As K-pop become global and as groups like Stray Kids become internationally popular, there's a lot of international fans who starts to love this group. And I could also see a lot of fans calling their names at concert, calling their names, using their names on Twitter, on TikTok. And I think it's very good, but sometimes I wish there would be someone who's able to teach them a proper pronunciation of their name. The way you guys are pronouncing isn't completely incorrect, but it's about someone who you enjoy. It's the idol that you guys like. Wouldn't it be better if we're able to accurately pronounce their name? And if you ever get a chance to do fan call or anything, I think they'll be much impressed if you're able to pronounce their name correctly. Because have you guys ever had that experience where you talk to your teacher or you talk to someone new and they pronounce your name in an incorrect way and you have to fix them, or you get too lazy to even bother fixing them? So just to give a little bit of my background, I'm someone who was born in Korea, native Korean. I lived in Korea for 13 years and I still go to Korea often. And I could say I have a pretty high confidence in my Korean pronunciation among anyone who lives in America as Korean American. And the reason why I emphasize this is because I've been seeing these videos on social media where people try to correct other people's pronunciation by calling them out, saying, that's not the right pronunciation. But then the people who are teaching also don't have the right pronunciation, and it gets on my nerve. Like, you can't teach someone if you also don't have the perfect pronunciation. So that's why I wanted to do this. Not because I want to diss someone else, but just because I wanted at least you guys to be able to get the right pronunciation. Usually, the best way to figure out this pronunciation is when they introduce themselves. But right before I get into this talk, do you guys want to know a really interesting phenomenon? Is that when international fans pronounce the Korean names in certain ways so many times, the members themselves start to pronounce their name in an English manner as well sometimes. So it makes the fans think that they're actually pronouncing it perfectly accurate. Like, for example, you know how my name, my Korean name, is the way English speaker would pronounce it is either Hayoseng or Hyoseng. Thing is, my real Korean pronunciation is Hyosang. But Hyosang sounds a little bit different from Hyoseng or Hayoseng. And these tiny differences, in my opinion, is what marks a huge difference in that pronunciation. Like, what I'm saying to you today is Changbin is not wrong. It is Changbin. But the goal today is to go from Changbin to Changbin. Do you guys see the point? It's very small difference. And learning this is not going to change your life. So if anything, I'm sorry I'm wasting your time. This is not very, very significant. But I also think if you're someone who's interested in learning Korean, if you start by learning how to pronounce these names correctly, then you'll be able to also improve in your overall pronunciation in Korean. Because you'll be able to get the hang of how the Korean language is pronounced. So that's why I decided to do this content. And I'm planning to do this not just for Stray Kids, but also for other groups as well. And I actually thought about this content beforehand. So when we go through the member's name, I think we have to go through two different names where, you know how the members, actually maybe three, they have their idol name, which is oftentimes the English version name. And sometimes they have a real Korean name, which also could be their idol name, but not always, such as Felix. So I want to teach you guys how to pronounce their Korean names in a Korean manner, but also their idol names in a Korean manner, if that makes sense. Let me pull up the members. All right. Starting with our leader. Who's our leader? Bang Chan. It's our leader, Bang Chan. Here's an interesting thing, is that I literally thought this was his first name. Never do that again? I'm so sorry. And if you're a stay, then you already know this information. If you're not a stay, you might not know this information. Is that Bang is the last name. And you know who else also has Bang as a last name? It's Hitman Bang. It's the same last name as Hitman Bang. So I don't know exactly, but they're likely from the same family. I don't know if you guys ever thought about that. Oh, Hitman Bang is from same family as Bangchan? And it makes me think, how does same genetics give two different outcomes? But anyway, alright. So he is Australian, so he might be more familiar with the name that his name is pronounced in English manner. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Because he grew up in an English country, you could tell me, or he could tell me, 효상, the way you're pronouncing my name is incorrect, which is understandable. I'm simply giving you guys pronunciation in Korean way. The reason why I'm saying this is because he's not native Korean, is what I'm trying to say. So, is 찬방. Well, that's the English way. You know how in English, you put the first name first and the last name first, and last name last? But in Korea, we do it the other way around. So, Korean name would be 방찬. Okay, now let's look at this word. The way English pronunciation is they accent the A. So the common mistake that people make is bang. But you guys have to know, it's not bang, it's bang. So you see right here how even though his name that he goes by is B-A-N-G, his legal name is B-A-H-N-G. It's because this is more closer to the Korean pronunciation. So instead of bang, it's ba, and then N-G. Bang, bang. I'll try to do it slow. Bang. And then the chan right here. You know how there is a C-H-A? What does C-H-A sound like in English? It's ch sound, right? But instead of the ch, Korean doesn't have a ch sound. It's more cha. Can you guys hear the difference in the ch and cha? Ch, do you see my face? Do you see my mouth? It's like tr. You make your mouth very ugly and tr. That's ch. But cha, you barely move your lips. Cha, cha. Koreans don't really move lips as dramatically as English does. So instead of bang chan, it's bang chan. Do you see how my lips doesn't move much? You kind of have to talk as if you're kind of nonchalant. Instead of bang chan, it's like bang chan, bang chan. Just say it like you don't care. bang chan, bang chan. Kind of like that. Just I'm nonchalant. And also, you know what the key? I always tell my Korean students. So for anyone who might not know, I teach Korean. I've taught Korean. I don't do it anymore because I got too busy nowadays. But the number one thing I always tell my students is when you're pronouncing Korean, say it in a monotone. Because English is very highly melodic language. Do you see the way I'm talking right now? Do you see the way I'm talking right now? Do you see how the accent goes up and down? But Korean, even though Korean does have a pitch in it. For example, 그렇게 하는 거 아닌데. There is a pitch. But it's more incorrect for you to add incorrect pitch. So it's better for you to start with having a flat pitch and then start learning the pitches one at a time. Do you see where I'm coming from? So if you don't apply any pitch, they'll be like, okay, that's Korean. But if you apply incorrect pitch, then they'll say, oh, that's very foreigner sounding. Because it's almost as if someone is speaking English in a way where instead of saying, hi, how are you? They're saying, hi, how are you? Like, do you guys see how it sounds accented? So adding the wrong pitch makes you sound more foreigner. So instead of, hi, how are you? Doing that, it's better to say, hi, how are you? You see how that is like more closer to the perfect pronunciation? Yes. And again, Korean is much more flatter toned than English is. What's interesting about Korean and the pitch is the fact that depending on the speaker, the tone is different. What I mean by that is, you know, a boy in his 20s probably talks like this. 안녕하세요. 네, 만나서 반갑습니다. 네, 네, 들어가세요. 네. In a very monotone. Meanwhile, 아줌mas would start to talk like, oh my gosh, you know, 우리 아들 어서, you know. So it kind of depends on the speaker. We have to learn it in a standard way first. So that was our leader, 방찬. Next one is Lino. Thing is, here's the thing. Lino's name is not Korean. At least the name Lino is not Korean. It's meant to be pronounced like Lino, if that makes sense. So if you pronounce Lino's name, it's okay. It's totally okay for you to say Lino because it's meant to be that way. But if you wanted to, well, let's start look at his Korean name. Is Lee Min-ho. Lee Min-ho. And the reason why he made his name Lino is because if you say Lee Min-ho fast, Lino. Do you see where I'm going? Because Lee is English written. Here's another thing. You know how there's a lot of Koreans who have the last name Lee? Do you know why it's Lee? It's not because it's pronounced Lee. When Korean immigrants came to America, they wanted to make sure their last name is not too unfamiliar for the English speakers. So instead of using a last name that has a correct pronunciation, what a lot of Korean immigrants did is we started to use a last name that already existed in America. So you know how the last name Lee already existed in American history way before any Asians existed in US history? So the closest name, Yi, was Lee. You know the General Lee from Civil War? Do you guys remember US history? And I thought there was a Korean guy in the US Civil War. But in reality, Korean people, when they came to America, decided to use the last name Lee because it was an existing English last name that sounded closest to the last name Lee. Same thing with Kim. You know how my last name's Kim? But the right pronunciation is actually Kim. But because the name Kimberly exists in English, and English audience is familiar with it, instead of spelling my last name Geam or Gim, we decided to spell it Kim. That's why it sounds like Kim. But the real pronunciation is Kim. Yes. And going to Lino's pronunciation, so it's Lee Min-ho, but then his English name in passport is Lee Min-ho. That's why it's Lino. But you could also say Lino in a Korean way. Instead of Lino, there's a lot of tongue movement there. Can you guys feel it? Lino, like the tongue is tonguing. So don't do the tongue. If you want to say it more Korean way, Lino. It's not Lee. It's Lee. It's closer to R, if that makes sense. Did you know that L and R doesn't have a big difference in Korean? We use it as a one character. So there's no difference between Lino and Reno. It's somewhere in between the two. Reno. Yes, Reno. And obviously, it's not no as in, there's a difference between, I don't even know if this is correct. I don't know English too well. You know the word N-O versus K-N-O-W? You know how they're pronounced slightly in a different sensation? No is no, and no has a little bit more of a no sensation. I might be wrong, but it's closer to the N-O, no, yes. Even the no, instead of saying oh, you know how you say no? Instead of saying no, just say no. Kind of like you're nonchalant. So you could say Lino, but you could also say Rino. So he probably introduced himself, oh, my name's Rino. Yes. But alright. And then my boy, actually, I have several of my boys in the group, but Changbin. He's actually the reason why I even decided to do this content. Changbin. So I believe this is his real name. His last name is Seo, and his Korean name is Changbin. So Seo is pretty easy. Instead of CO, don't say CO. Just say Seo. And then instead of Chang, the issue is again the CHA. You see the same thing with Bang Chan and Changbin. Don't make the CHA sound too strong. The issue is it's the lips. Do you see the issue? It's the Changbin, like the pouting mouth is the issue. Just make sure your lips are still Changbin. Do you see the difference? Don't make it Changbin. Keep the lips sealed, and then the pronunciation would be more correct. So Changbin is the right way to pronounce his name. His full Korean name is Seo Changbin. Again, I don't know if the members might pronounce their own name as Changbin. I don't think so. He's also born in Korea, so I'm pretty sure that's his name. And, okay, this one is even more Korean name. This one's another one. It's our handsome boy, Hyunjin. I actually think, you know what I'm surprised by? A lot of the international fans pronounce his name quite correctly. I think it's also because the way that it's written in English is not too incorrect. I haven't really seen people pronounce this wrong. It's Hyunjin. Hyunjin. If anything, just don't make it too accented. Hyunjin, just Hyunjin. Yeah, Hyunjin is pretty accurate. Hwang, just don't make the W sound too strong. So don't say Hwang. Don't say A. Most of the time, instead of A sound, is A sound. So instead of Hwang, it's Hwang. You see the difference? Hwang, Hyunjin. Yeah, Hyunjin seems like a pretty straightforward name. This one doesn't really have an issue. And our multi-talented boy. This one's also easy. Even though his real name is Han Ji-sung. Ji-sung is not the issue. Ji-sung, most of the times, international fans pronounce it correctly. It's the Han part. I've never seen someone who pronounces wrong when they're a fan. Just don't read it as Han. Do you guys see where I'm coming from? As long as you don't pronounce it with the A sound in Han, just say Han. Han, yes. Han. Han is correct. Just don't make it anywhere near A sound. Han. Like, not Han. Yes. So his name is Han Ji-sung. Han is actually his last name. Han is actually not even that common last name. It's pretty unique. And I think that's the reason why he used it as his name. Oh, I didn't know this. His name Han is the same Han that exists in the name Korea. You know what Korea is in Korean? Korea is 대한민국, or we call it 한국. And we have the character Han that stands for Korea. It's the same character that he has for his last name. Oh, I wish I had this last name. That's so cool. His last name literally means Korea. I never knew this. Yes. Oh, the way to pronounce Korea in Korean is 한국, and 국 is a word for country. So Han is the word dedicated towards Korea, which is the same character as Han's last name. Yeah. So that's Han. My boy. My boy. My boy. My boy. My boy. Felix. So, Felix is the right way to say it. Felix is Felix. Now, I'm gonna make it a little bit more boring. Or not boring, but like Koreanized. If you want to say the word Felix in Korean, then you have to make it a little bit boring. Like more angular, if that makes sense. Instead of saying Felix, you say Felix. So, instead of F, say it with a P. And then you have to cut each syllable. Instead of Felix, you say Felix. Felix. But obviously, that's not his real name. What is his real name? It's Yongbok. His real name is Felix Yongbok Lee. This is the same Lee as Lino's Lee. So you could pronounce it Lee because he grew up in Australia as well. So he probably thinks his last name is Lee. Do you guys get what I'm saying? But technically, in Korean name system, is Lee Yongbok. Lee Yongbok. Again, not Lee. Don't say Lee. It's E and then Yongbok. He has a really, really weird name. It's very, very uncommon name. You know what the Yong in his name Yongbok means? The Yong means dragon. I actually haven't seen that many people who have the word dragon in the name. Yeah, the word Yongbok, the Yong is dragon. I don't know what the Bok stands for. I haven't seen this character. So Felix, you could pronounce his name Felix or Yongbok. I see a lot of Korean audience saying Yongbok. I think it's just more, as well as all our international stays. You know how it feels more intimate when you call someone not by their sort of a public name, but instead you call them by real name or nickname. So I think it's cute when fans use Yongbok instead of just Felix. Yes. I mean, I call him my boy, but... And okay, another very straightforward... Okay. This one is a little difficult. This one is a little bit difficult for international fans. It's our singer boy, Seungmin. Obviously, that is his real name. And he also has same last name as me, Kim. You could say it Kim. Technically, that's correct in English. But what I tell you, how do you pronounce Kim in Korean? Is Kim. Kim. Kim is the right way to pronounce Kim last name. And Seungmin. You know what's difficult? It's the fact that international fans aren't pronouncing this completely wrong. It's pretty accurate. It's the Seung part that people really struggle. You know, the E-U-N-G, this makes people very struggle because they don't know, is this like Siun, like Siang? So no one really used this to read. They just kind of rely on their ears. Do you guys agree? That's kind of how the members call him, like Seung. So people have to kind of use their ears for it. So I'll tell you how to do it in a very slow manner. S. You start with the S sound. S, similar to snake sound. S, and then end it with Seung. You know the freestyle? I don't know if you guys remember that song. So it's It's the same with the S in the front. Seung. And it becomes Seung. So the right way to cut this English word is actually S and E-U-N-G. Do you guys see where I'm coming from? So you pronounce the S, and then you say Seung. It's kind of difficult. Mean is mean. Yeah, mean is just mean. There's no difficult way for this. Mean. Oh, wait. There's a difference. Don't say min. It's bin. Can you guys hear this difference? This is going to be really difficult to hear the difference if you're a native English speaker. You know the word minute? If you imagine the word minute, it's not that min. It's bin. Yes, it's closer to M-E-A-N than M-I-N, if that makes sense. So, Seungmin. Do you guys get it? Yes. Instead of min. This is a very small difference. It's not even like that big of a deal. But, we're learning the pronunciation. And again, this is not international fans' fault. Like I explained earlier, there was a lot of historical and legal reasons behind why certain Korean names had to be translated in this manner. Right now, it just became an international standard. That's why the Korean names aren't correctly written down in English. Even my name, I'll tell you guys later, but Hyosang for my name is not the best way to write my name. But alright. And then our 막내, IN. Well, IN is just IN. IN is I-N. Even if you want to say it I-N in Korean, it's I-N. I-N. You just kind of cut the syllable. I-E-N. That's I-N. But he's also a Korean boy, so he has a Korean name, which is Yang Jong-in. Yang? Yang is easy. Just don't say Yang. As long as you don't say... You know, another thing that I get annoyed, that's the same pronunciation as... You know the term yin and yang that people say? It's yang. At least in Korean, the way to pronounce it is yang. So don't say yang, it's yang. So instead of yeah, like Y-E-A, like yeah. Instead of yeah, it's ya. Like yeah. Okay, that sounded a little bit like a queen, but you see where I'm coming from? You see where I'm coming from? It's not yeah, it's ya. Yang Jong-in. Here's the difficult one. Here's another difficult one. Do you see these difficult E-O-N-G, E-U-A-N, E-U, like all these difficult? So it's not Jeong. You have to say this word actually very quickly. If you elongate it, it becomes more weird. So don't say Jeong, say it quickly. Jong-in. So best way to pronounce Korean is to cut by syllable and blurt out the sounds at a time. Instead of Yang Jong-in, just say, like, be prepared and then spit out one word, Yang Jong-in. Does that make sense? Because this is something that you will understand once you start learning Korean more and more. You see how English is a series of alphabet? So you could kind of divide the syllables, but they're kind of written in a linear format. In comparison, Korean is more 3D language? Okay, like 2D language. Do you see how one character has multiple sounds in it? And when you go from one character to next character, there's a break. Not always, but there's a break. So compared to English, the syllable cuts are more exaggerated, if that makes sense. So instead of, you could say 양정인, but you know, that's already if you're comfortable. If you're a beginner, try speaking one syllable at a time. 양정인. And that is how you 양정인. Nice. So that is how you pronounce the names of Stray Kids member. Oh, before I wrap it up, Stray Kids is obviously an English word, but in Korean we could pronounce it Stray Kids, or the way Korean fans call it, as well as international, we call it Skids. It's just a condensed word of Skids. Yeah, I think you guys already know this. Kids. Nice. Let me know if there's other groups that you guys want to know and learn the names of. I might do more of the pronunciation things. I think this is actually kind of fun. This is actually very fun. I always enjoy the teaching. It fits my interest as well. And I also obviously love Stray Kids too. You know, I'm a baby stay, so yes. Next time, N-hyphen? Oh, for sure. I don't know if the stays here could also empathize, but if we're gonna do N-hyphen, I would have to skip the boy. I'm still not over it. Can I be honest, guys? I was still listening to an N-hyphen song today, and I was still listening to the parts that, well, not Heesung anymore, Evan sang. And I was just replaying the not Stray Kids song, N-hyphen song, trying to imagine if the songs would flow if he doesn't sing. You know what I mean? But you know what the issue is? Okay, this is a whole different talk. Sorry. I'll save this talk for another time. But like, he literally has all the killing parts. Like, what is an hyphen gonna do? He literally gets all the intros and chorus and pre-chorus. Triple S next, please. Girl, you're trying to make me stay here for 3 hours? How many girls are in that group? Like 28 or something? That's like a whole class. Yeah, 24. Oh my god. But all right. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.